Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at nano nuclear energy. It is time for another update, and today we will be discussing the failure of the structure which we were tracking here to the upside in a 1-2 setup for the wave 3 to be unfolding afterwards. And on this chart we were tracking a leading diagonal forming on the larger time frame, where this was a wave 1, we had here a wave 2 correction, and then in the wave 3 we were tracking an ABC structure, where in the wave C we had a double 1-2 1-2 setup that we were looking to form and start the third wave to the upside from. Now, since we failed to hold this area of support, this actually has quite bearish implications because it deeply affects the reliability of this pattern that we are tracking to the upside, since right now I cannot be tracking a 1-2 setup. All I can really track within this area is from an ending diagonal perspective in the larger wave C, which was always a risk when breaking the 78.6% retracement, but we even invalidated completely this idea of a 1-2 setup. So now all we really have left is the possibility of tracking this as part of an ending diagonal, where in the wave 1 we don't have a 5-wave structure, we only have an ABC pattern, and we can only track an ABC structure within the larger wave 3, the internal wave 3 of the wave C, right? And in that scenario, it gets us into a pattern that could unfold in many irregular ways, where the wave A, for example, that could unfold from this area could be a 3-wave pattern. So we could have an ABC that could have been a wave A. We would then be looking probably for a 4th wave correction that would fail. We would then get fooled by the possibility of forming a 5-wave move to the upside, which is the case. It is possible within a wave A to form even a leading diagonal, even an impulse, and even a 3-wave structure, and it is much more difficult to actually track these structures. And even though we fail to hold here this area of support, we still need to be looking out for additional support much deeper, where then we would be watching out for the wave C, the wave B correction, from which we start a wave C to the upside, which is a 5-wave structure but could still be a diagonal pattern instead of an impulse. So it will heavily increase the difficulty of tracking this pattern to the upside, even if we manage to hold this area of support in the wave 2 correction. And even this correction in the wave 2 has a lot lower probabilities of working out in the end, due to the fact that this is a 3-wave pattern that has formed to the upside. Now, from a large time frame perspective, I do have to say we could still allow this wave A to have extended all the way up here, where this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th. That is acceptable, although still not the preferred scenario. So we will track this as a 1-2 setup, but then if we fail to hold even here the 1-2, where we invalidated once more, well, I would actually have to shift to that scenario, which would allow even further deeper retracements. It is a diagonal pattern, which is why this structure is a leading diagonal that is forming, which is why these structures are that much more difficult to track. Well, now even this internal wave C that of the wave 3 is also a diagonal pattern, which increases the difficulty. Now, this doesn't mean it cannot work out, but it is probably preferred compared to the other charts that are even in this sector to take a bit more of a standby stance, sit on the sidelines a bit more, wait for a little better confirmations that bottoms have formed, that structures do have a higher probability of working out. Now, this is your choice on how you actually use this information, but from my opinion, we need to be prepared for a very difficult structure and pattern to be tracking forward, even if it manages to work out. And as I was saying, it is not the same probability that it will work out as having here a 1-2 setup for the follow-up structure to the upside. It is not the same probability. And at this point, we can see that this structure to the downside, this correction in the wave 2, did already react a couple of times to the areas of support, to the specific levels here, the 38.2% retracement. It is in line with this push to the upside within this structural support that we had. Then we had just now a reaction to the 61.8% retracement, a smaller one, but who knows, it may still extend. It was very recent after all. And I do have the ability to track this structure to the downside similarly to what I have across the markets. Even the pattern here does look quite similar with what we have on the new scale power chart. Now on this stock we actually retraced far less. Even though we broke the area of support, we only retraced like 55% from the top, whereas on the new scale power chart we retraced 70% already. But however, on the chart we are still within the area of support that we were tracking for a 5-wave move to the upside in a wave 1, whereas here we are not. Now in this area I am tracking a couple of ideas where I am looking basically at an A B C structure to be unfolding to the downside, and I have a couple of scenarios for this wave C. I do see the possibility of having a completion, and this is what I am tracking here in the white scenario. Yeah, I could have the wave 5 complete here, and I don't really need any additional lows. We could have already bottomed, as on many other charts that we are tracking. And then we have the yellow interpretation, in which we really actually still need a 4th and a 5th to extend lower. Now within that count we have here a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, and instead of having the wave 3 down here as in the white scenario, the wave 3 could easily be counted all the way down here, and then yeah, we would now be looking for the retracement into the resistance area between the $31 all the way up to the $37.6 level. Now, as long as we hold here below the 61.8% retracement, there is still a high threat of further extensions lower. But if we manage to break this, well, that would be actually a quite good sign that this structure is done, and maybe even this larger correction in the wave 2 may be over. Now, within these levels, I do want to mention, even within the white scenario, this could apply to both scenarios, but even within the white scenario, we could still see an extension here, exactly the same way we could see it on the new scale power chart, where this could be an A wave down, we could get a B wave up, and then a C wave down. Yeah, remember, we are tracking an ending diagonal within this wave C after all, so we really only need to get an ABC, and we would have an extension complete within this movement to the downside. And this we will be tracking in the orange interpretation, since yeah, this could apply to both scenarios, both white and yellow. And in that case, I would be watching for resistance at the levels between the $30 level all the way up to the $33 level, where a break above the 78.6% retracement would be an indication that this structure is likely done, but I would still need a break here above the $34.9 level for a confirmation, an invalidation of this extension lower within the orange scenario. And for now, yeah, we are waiting to see a more reliable structure form to the upside, a larger pattern, and to see the break here above the 61.8% retracement. But yeah, for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days, weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.